How could Rico do my guy Money Mitch like that? Why don't Jay and Dame speak anymore? Jesus, Judas, Caesar, Brutus. Same story, different chapters. Wiley and Dizzy. The list goes on. On the primary school playground, we linked our pinky fingers together in between people's elbows and stone cold stunners and promised to be friends forever. Forever ever? Yeah, forever ever. Forgetting that forever is a very long time. Time has taught me a serious lesson. Friendship is complicated. Phone numbers in your contact list become revolving doors. How do we lose contact with real ones? How do we find out that our real ones were never really that real in the first place? Basically, does friendship hurt or harm us? Let's chat about it. We all know that awkward experience when you connect with someone after years. Yeah, that one. But this ain't just anyone, this is your guy. Like, you go way back to when you were working part-time at Sainsbury's. He held you down every time your supervisor wouldn't let you switch shift, or when you needed someone to cover your till so you could pattern the girl from the fresh bakery section. He was a real one, but you ain't seen him for a minute. Out of the blue, he drops you a message on IG. "Oh shit, my guy," you respond. "It's been too long," he replies. After a brief convo, you agree to link up. A few weeks later, you two are sitting across from each other, hoping to reminisce over half chicken and some peri-peri chips. But suddenly the reality kicks in harder than a Tyson punch. "How you living?" you ask. "I'm good," he responds. Awkward silence. "How's uni?" Man's done that, just trying to find a job." Awkward silence. Cool. Awkward silence. The conversation stutters forward. Both of you realise that somehow that bond that you shared has gradually unravelled over the years, leaving nothing but a loose string of formalities still tying you together. The memories don't connect the same way. The jokes don't hit as hard. After you finish cycling through the lists of names that once connected you, you spend the rest of the link up talking about how good the garlic bread is, while making excuses about how someone's waiting for you after this, so you need to speed it up a bit. That pure relationship that you once shared has been tainted by time, separation, and life. It's sad, but true. From the constant notifications on Facebook, do you guys still use Facebook anymore? Or Instagram to add ghosts from your past, or people getting offended when you leave their messages unread or forget to like their posts. Bear in mind, these are people that have never helped auntie carry her shopping bag across the road. Friendship is complicated, so it's crucial to establish who and what real ones are. There's too many snakes in the grass not to. Alright, so let's get into the science stuff. I watched a TED Talk, as you do when you're trying to get deeper into a subject. Satashta Nelson, she does this talk about having an intimate relationship with friends. She developed a whole concept she calls friendtimacy. Nice play on words, a slight reach, but we can still rate it. Anyway, out of 6,000 people, she asks how close they feel to their friends on a scale of 1 to 10. 50% of them scored their friends 5 or below. Depressing, innit? Even in my own experience, I can agree that a lot of our friendships lack. I made less than 5 friends in the first 20 years of my life. This isn't gas, just let me land. So keeping it 100, I don't even remember the surname of my best friend from primary school. If I close my eyes, I can make out his facial features and his name, Amate. He was a light-skinned boy with dreadlocks, a wide smile, and 2 brothers. I can't remember what brought us together, but we had fun. I still chat to one of my boys from secondary school, one from sixth form, one from college, and 2 or 3 from uni consistently. By the way, this includes female friends. Side note, I'll be using boys interchangeably for the rest of this conversation. If you add that up, that makes 5 or 6 friends. I wouldn't argue with you if you said that I was a rubbish friend, and maybe I can redeem myself by admitting that that doesn't include friends I made outside of the school settings. I still have genuine day ones. But for the first 16 to 20 years of my life, school was the breeding ground for any kind of relationship. Growing up, I did move houses more than J-Lo changed husband during that time period, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could relate to my friendship situation. We move on and people get left behind. Then years later, we look around the field of our memories and we find them harvested with faces that once meant everything to us, but now barely even trigger an emotional response. How many times did you swear to those faces that you'd be friends forever? Forever ever? And in those moments in between lunch banter and chasing down buses after school, we probably believe that it's true on some death to us part thing. But life is wild, and graduations, career changes, moves, breakups, gossip and drama tell a different story. So basically, friendships lack and they don't last. So why do we bother in the first place? Maybe it's a survival mechanism, because when you break it down, the term friendship is taken from the Greek word philia, which means brotherly love. So from an evolutionary standpoint, it would make a lot of sense. There was no way you were going to wrestle a tiger or lion on your ones. Historic humans, tribes and villages needed to work together to survive the forces of nature. Friends were your survival family. But if we're no longer hunting in packs for lions to make burgers or gathering sticks to make cribs and shelter, is friendship still necessary? Is that why it's probably easier nowadays to ditch old friends and replace them with shiny new ones? Let me introduce you to Saint Augustine, Catholic philosopher and most famous for his book City of God. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, not that City of God. Sick movie but not relevant at this point in our conversation. It is later though. Augustine had some interesting perspectives on friendship. He said, in this world, two things are essential: a healthy life and friendship. The first thing a baby sees when opening its eyes are its parents, and life begins with their friendship. I felt that. Bars. Okay, so I've seen firsthand how friendship begins with life, but also how it can end with it. This is where that City of God is relevant. City of God, the cult classic Brazilian crime film about two friends choosing different paths in life in the poverty-stricken favelas in Rio de Janeiro in the 1970s. It's a must-watch, like top 5 dead or alive kind of must-watch. Similar to Netflix's Top Boy and the 2019 Blue Story, it looks at friendship as survival in environments infested with gang crime and culture. Like me, if you grew up in London, and I mean London, not Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square, Will and Kate London. I'm talking where you from, bruv, chicken and chips for dinner, tracksuits and Air Maxes London. You can relate to. Friendship at times was life or death. Who you knew, who you were seen with made a difference to your status. Some, emphasis on some, people were not in gangs because it was fun. But the reality is that these friendships were integral to the day-to-day survival of an individual. So maybe we haven't evolved past the points where friendships are essential to our survival. But what if you didn't grow up in post-Cold Wars and Call of Duty equivalent surroundings? What happens when you graduate out of those environments, stay out of the wrong crowds, and by the time you're 18, you ain't even about that life anymore? Do we only need friends to survive up until we get to that I need to settle down, focus and get my money up phase? That would explain why most of our friendships start to fade as we get older. So I guess we could argue that friendships are just a practical way to survive our environments as youths. After that, we don't need them. Nah, some more science stuff. An article in the Huffington Post, The History of Friendship, How Friendship Evolved and Why It's Fundamental to Your Happiness. Fundamental to your happiness. That's a bold claim. So I read further. Apparently, we tend to disregard the concept of interdependence. One of the biggest blocks to happiness is what I call dysfunctional independence, which is about trying to do life all by yourself. You can't be completely independent and enjoy intimacy. True friendships mean that sometimes you have to be vulnerable, ask for help, and let love in. So according to this, if friendships can benefit us practically and mentally, then why do they keep slipping through our grasp as we spin the wheel of time? Then I realize we spend a lot of time thinking about how friendships affect us without asking what friendship is. We've been conditioned to think that friendships go in a straight line, when the reality is that they go in a series of different cycles. Once one circle is complete, you progress to the next one. This means that not all friendships follow the same rules and regulations, and probably why some have different outcomes. Aristotle, the Greek philosophy guy, described 3 different types of friendships that we form in life.